It began without a sound, no warning, no countdown, just silence. At exactly 2:17 a.m. UTC, every satellite orbiting Earth stopped responding. GPS systems failed. Military surveillance feeds went dark. The International Space Station spun slightly afaxis before disappearing from ground control. It all happened in less than 10 seconds then. Something stranger followed. Across every screen, phones, televisions, billboards, even the emergency alert system's lines of glowing alien symbols appeared. Not moving, not blinking, just ... glowing. Like they were etched into the very air. At first people thought it was a glitch, a cyber attic maybe. But then the sky changed. From New York to Nairobi, from Tokyo to Rio de Janeiro, the sky turned deep red. Not like a sunset. No, this was something else. Like the atmosphere itself was burning from the inside. Stars faded, the moon dimmed. Then came the words, glowing in the sky, in a language no one knew, but every human understood it. Surrender, or be erased. Panic began immediately. Planes rerouted. Trains stopped mid-journey. People flooded streets. Governments declared states of emergency. Rumors spread fast. Was it aliens? A rogue AI? Secret military experiment gone wrong? No one had answers, but someone had a clue. Dr. Lynn Rourke sat alone in her dark office beneath the University of Glasgow. A cup of untouched tea sat beside her as she stared at the screen. The glowing symbols were still visible on her monitor. But to her, they weren't just shapes. They were language, ancient, familiar, too familiar. She had seen this script once before, 7 years ago, during a classified deep space translation mission funded by the European Space Council. A probe had picked up faint radio waves from outside the Kuiper Belt. Most had dismissed it as background noise, but Lynn had noticed a pattern, a message, buried in static. Too weak to understand back then. This was the same writing, now burned into the sky like a warning sign across the stars. Her hands shook as she opened the old file. It was still there. The same curves, the same vertical slashes, the same signature. This wasn't a first. It's contact, it was a follow-up. The warning wasn't new. It had just been ignored the first time she tapped into the emergency academic channel and sent a message to the Global Defense Network. 3 minutes. Later, she was picked up by a military drone jet and flown to an underground site known only as Base Solstice. Buried under Iceland's volcanic plains, it was Earth's quietest, coldest place to plan for the end of the world. Inside chaos was brewing. World leaders appeared on holoconference screens. Generals argued. Some pushed for retaliation missile launches at the sky, at the stars, anywhere. Others wanted to shut down all communication and hide. But Dr. Lynn Maseda didn't speak until someone asked the question that mattered. What does the message really say? She stepped forward. It's not a threat, she said calmly. It's a warning, and not meant for us alone. That made the room go silent. What do you mean? Asked Admiral Harrow, head of Earth Fleet Command. Lynn brought up a side-by-side comparison. The current message in the sky and the one from the 7-year-old transmission, they match, she said. But in the older version, there were 4 words missing at the start. The full sentence back then was, to the ones who destroyed. Our kin surrender or be erased. A soft murmur moved through the room. Destroyed their kin? Someone asked. Lynn nodded. Whoever they are, they believe someone hurt them first. They're not just threatening, they're retaliating. This is personal. That word hung in the air like a sword, retaliating. Earth hadn't made contact with any alien species. At least, not officially. No wars, no probes gone rogue. So who were these kin and who destroyed them? And then came the most terrifying part. 10 minutes after the sky message appeared, Earth's deep space telescopes picked up a signal. It wasn't a radio wave, not a laser ping. It was movement objects, thousands of them, just beyond Neptune. Large, silent, cold, and coming fast. At their speed, they would reach Earth in 6 days. The military went into overdrive. Every space, Agency activated emergency protocols. Defense systems on the moon came online. Hidden railguns under Earth's oceans surfaced. Orbital platforms powered up, but it didn't feel like preparation. It felt like fear, because no one knew what these objects were. No one had seen them before, and the message didn't say when to surrender, only what would happen if Earth D in single quotes in a small underground command center. Lin stood beside Admiral Harao, watching the incoming swarm on a holographic map. She said, "I think we need to find out who the message was meant for." He looked at her, puzzled.
Ow.
"You said it wasn't just for us," she nodded slowly. "There may be others. Someone else who already fought these things, lost, and tried to warn us. Like who?" She looked at him grimly. "I don't know. But if we don't find them, fast will be next." Just then, a technician shouted from across the room. "Sir Nu. Signal detected. Coming from the Urt cloud. Audio message. Human voice." The room froze. They played it. It was old, cracked, like it had been trapped in space for centuries. The voice said, "If you're hearing this, not trust the sky, do not answer." We did. And we were erased. Darkness still hung over Earth. The alien message still glowed in the sky. Surrender or be erased. But something had changed. That mysterious voice message from the Urt cloud played over and over inside Earth's defense center. The voice had sounded human, tired, broken, but clear. "If you're hearing this, Earth still stands. Do not trust the sky. Do not answer." We did, and we were erased. No one knew who sent it. But then, only 3 hours after that signal came, something else appeared. A fast-moving object entered Earth's solar system, too small to be a ship, too fast to be a meteor. It dodged Saturn's rings, zipped past Mars, and began slowing down near Earth. It was heading for the Sahara Desert. Earth's militaries locked onto it with satellites, missiles, and drones. It didn't attack. It didn't respond. It just landed, Small silver sphere, no larger than a car, gently touched the hot sands of northern Africa. Within minutes, international forces arrived, soldiers in armored suits, drones flying above, weapons pointed, but before anyone could move closer, the sphere split open. Something stepped out. It looked human, but it wasn't. It walked on 2 legs, wore black armor, had hands like a man, a face like a man, but its eyes, they glowed silver, like mirrors reflecting the entire galaxy. The soldiers raised their weapons. The being raised its hand not to fight, but to speak Earth. "Still lives," it said. Its voice was calm, deep, perfectly clear English. But its mouth didn't move. The words echoed in every soldier's mind directly, like thoughts not their own. Before anyone could question, the being collapsed unconscious, dashed back. At base solstice, the news hit like a lightning bolt. The unknown being was airlifted to a secure lab. Dr. Lynn Rourke, along with a team of doctors, linguists, and xenobiologists, stood in silence as the strange man lay unconscious on the table. His suit had no seams, no zippers, not even oxygen tanks, and yet he was breathing. "He's human?" one of the doctors asked. Lynn wasn't sure. Maybe once. But this isn't Earth's design. Suddenly, the being's eyes flickered open. No movement. No struggle. He simply spoke.
I
"Am Commander Kalen. Human origin. Colony Theta 5. I bring a warning." Everyone froze. Lynn stepped forward. "You said you were from a human colony." "But we've never had a Theta 5, Kalen." Turned his head slowly. "You wouldn't. It was erased by them." "Who?" she asked. He looked at the glowing alien message still visible outside the window. The room dimmed as holograms flickered on. Kalen projected star charts, recordings, and broken pieces of data. Each showed different human colonies, some never recorded in Earth's history. Dozens of them. Some close. Some thousands of light years away. All destroyed. All by the same species. He called them the Korgal Dominion. They come like fire, he said. But fire isn't their power. Fear is. They broadcast warnings before they attack. Messages of surrender. Most colonies tried to negotiate. He paused. They were the first to fall. Dr. Lin leaned forward. How did you survive? Kalen looked away. I didn't. The room went cold, he explained. During the fall of Theta 5, a desperate team of engineers and scientists launched him in a prototype escape probe. His body was enhanced, fused with memory backups, translation systems, and war logs. His mission? To reach Earth? To warn it? To stop it from making the same mistake. But time was running out. The swarm of objects, thousands of alien vessels, was still approaching Earth. Less than 5 days remained. Kalen warned them. They do not start with war. They start with lies. They appear through machines, through words, through people. They offer surrender. He looked around the room, and sometimes people say yes. That sent chills down every spine. Lin asked, You mean? They've already infiltrated us. Kalen didn't answer. He didn't have to, because at that very moment, half a world away, something happened. A secret research facility in the Arctic went dark. No calls, no alerts, just silence. A drone sent for investigation returned to live feed bodies, frozen in place, eyes open. Blood crystallized in midair, no signs of a fight. No warning. Then a message was found in the facility's mainframe. Just 3 words. One has agreed. Earth's leadership panicked. Had someone accepted the alien terms? A traitor? A survivor? Or a puppet? Dr. Lin and Commander Kalen both knew one thing. Whoever had agreed was now under alien control. And Earth's time was almost gone. That night, Dr. Lin sat alone with Kalen in a private chamber. She stared at the ancient alien script again. The same phrase burned in the sky. Surrender, or be erased, she whispered. How do we fight something we can't even see? Kalen replied. You don't fight their weapons first. You fight their message. You make Earth impossible, too. Control. How? He stood, walking to the window. You stop being afraid? At that moment, alarms screamed through the base. A new object had entered Earth's orbit. This time, it wasn't a probe. It was a ship. Not KORG. Not human, but something. Older, the ship didn't speak. It simply waited. Earth now had 4 days left, and the sky was watching. The sky was still glowing. Earth had 4 days left. The alien fleet was coming fast. Thousands of ships, silent and deadly, moving like a dark wave through space. And now, another mystery. A new ship had entered orbit around Earth. Large, silent, motionless. It did not belong to the alien swarm. It was not from Earth either. Its design was old ancient even. It's covered in dust and burns. No signals, no message. It simply hovered above the Pacific Ocean, watching. Bass Solstice scrambled to understand it. Commander Kalen stared at the display, his face unreadable. That ship. It doesn't belong to the Korgal. And it doesn't belong to you either. But I've seen something like it before where, Dr. Lin asked. In ruins, he replied. On a dead world near the edge of the galaxy. It was buried deep underground. We thought it was extinct, a race long gone. What race? Admiral Harrow demanded. Kalen turned to face him. I don't know what they were called, but they were the ones the Korgal feared. The room fell silent. Now Earth had 2 problems. 1, the Korgal invasion. 2, an unknown ancient ship hovering over their world, but time was running out. The president of the Global Alliance gave the order, activate Project Firewake. The room gasped. Project Firewake was more than just a planet, was Earth's last resort. A hidden war protocol created 200 years ago during the Age of Collapse. Designed by a group of military scientists, it was built for one purpose: to prepare for a war humanity could never win, and it had been sleeping until now. High in the Andes Mountains, a deep vault opened for the first time in 2 centuries. Inside were control panels, frozen chambers, and strange machines wrapped in ancient steel from orbit. Satellites locked onto the structure's power spike. Underneath the moon's surface, another vault woke. The core began humming. Gears moved. Lights blinked red. Robotic arms lifted massive weapons out of the shadows. Back on Earth, 5 war generals, old, retired, or thought to be dead, received encrypted messages. They all had one job: to bring the Firewake protocol online. But there was one more vault, the most dangerous, beneath Antarctica. Far deeper than any base or city, there existed a forgotten room. No one had entered it in over 170 years. Its door was made of neutron steel. Its core was sealed behind 10 layers of AI encryption. Only one person alive had the key. Dr. Lin. Why? Because her grandfather had helped design it, and before he died, he left behind a message. If the sky ever speaks in fire, unlock the room. The answer waits inside. Lin stood before the frozen vault. Her fingers trembled as she entered the final code. The door hissed open. Inside was silence. And then movement. A soft blue light flickered in the center. A chair turned slowly. Someone was already sitting there. But they weren't breathing. It was a machine. Humanoid AI, covered in dust, with one glowing eye and symbols carved across its chest. Lin stepped closer. The machine spoke. Designation: Ares, Human AI, Tactical Weapon. Version 001. Query: Are we at war? Lin whispered, Yes. The machine stood. Then let me end it. Meanwhile, the strange ship above Earth finally moved. Not toward a city, not toward a fleet. It descended into the Pacific and vanished beneath the waves. Submarines followed. They found nothing, just silence. But one crew, the USS Nichor, discovered something chilling beneath the seafloor. There was a massive energy signature. Buried, still active, and responding. It matched no Earth tech. It matched no alien code, but it did respond to one. Signal cants. He was called to the command deck. They played the signal aloud. A deep voice spoke in the ancient language Korgel used. Kalen translated it. You woke the defender. The trial begins. Back at base Solstice, Ares, the humanoid AI, stood before a wall of old battle maps and dead codes. But it didn't need time. It processed millions of strategies per second. You cannot win through force, Ares said, calmly. But we can show them something worse than war. What's that? Lin asked. Ares turned to her. Unity without fear. It had begun reactivating Earth's oldest war assets. Orbital cannons, solar shields, the mech-burn fleet hidden in Jupiter's shadow. Most of these had been deactivated after peace treaties. Now they were Earth's last hope. But the AI warned them, we must send a message of our own. Admiral Harrow was confused. A message? To Korgel? No, Ares replied. To the galaxy. Within hours, Earth broadcasted a signal encrypted, bright, and bold. Sent not just toward the incoming fleet, but out into deep space. It said, we were warned. We did not kneel. We remember the fallen, and we are not alone. No. Korgel fleet kept coming, but now they had paused. The countdown reached 72 hours. And somewhere, buried deep beneath the sea, the ancient ship finally began to rise again. But this time, it was glowing, not red. Not silver, but blue. The color of old Earth myths, and Ares whispered. One final phrase, the first god rises. He remembers us. The countdown was down to 72 hours. Earth's skies still glowed with the alien warning. Surrender or be erased. But Earth did not surrender. Instead, it prepared for war. Yet, something unexpected happened. The first strike did not come from Earth. It didn't come from the Korgel either. It came from the ship buried in the Pacific. The one that had risen quietly. The one that didn't speak. One Kalen said was older than Earth itself. At exactly 0300 hours. Every satellite pointed toward. The Pacific Ocean recorded a blinding blue light, like a sun rising from the sea. But it wasn't sunlight, it was a weapon. The ship launched a single beam into space thin, focused faster than light. Not at Earth, not at the moon, but at a Korgel scout ship approaching. Neptune, the alien ship didn't even have time to react. It shattered. No explosion, no fire, just gone, turned to dust. And that's when everything changed, and the alien fleet, still days away from Earth's panic, spread like fire. The Korgel were known across the galaxy for their brutal strength, unbreakable shields, and advanced technology. They had destroyed hundreds of civilizations with ease, but one of their ships had just vanished in a blink. No warning, no energy buildup, just obliteration. The fleet stopped. Thousands of ships frozen in space, scanning for the source, but they couldn't find it because the ancient Earthbound ship was now cloaked again, underwater. Silent Earth hadn't fired. Someone or something had fired for Earth in base solstice. Commander Kalan stood still. His voice was quiet. It's real. The old war myths were true. Dr. Lin stepped closer. You mean the Defender? Yes, he said. It wasn't just a legend. It was a weapon left behind, not by humans, but by the ones who came before us. The ones the Korgel feared so much they erased all memory of them. Admiral Harrow frowned. You're saying that ship isn't human? No, Kalen replied, but it remembers us. It recognizes Earth, and it just made its choice. Meanwhile, in the war chambers below the Andes Mountains, Ares, the humanoid AI, accessed the energy signature of the ancient weapon. He stared for a long time, then said, it used a Suncore beam. Technology not seen in 12 galactic ages. Can we copy it? Lin asked. Ares shook his head. Not in time. But we don't need to. He turned toward Earth's generals. Now is the moment we strike back, not with weapons. With fear? What do you mean? Harrow asked. Ares smiled faintly. We let the galaxy know. Earth has allies. The Korgel cannot fight. Hours later, Earth sent a second message. But this one was different. It wasn't a threat. It was a video. It showed the destruction of the Korgel scout ship. Showed the light beam. The dust, and then it showed Earth's message. We are not alone, and we do not run. That video went viral across hundreds of colonies and alien networks, some forbidden, some secret. It reached pirate dens, black markets, old colonies, and even Korgel-controlled zones. Within hours, whispers spread across the galaxy. Earth is protected. The Ancient One has awakened. Something stronger than the Korgel walks with them. The Korgel's greatest weapon fear was now failing. Back on Earth, Len sat with Kalen. She asked the question on everyone's mind. Why did the ancient ship defend us? Kalen took a long breath. I believe Earth was once part of something greater. Maybe long before recorded history. Maybe before humans even understood space. That ship doesn't see us as a threat or prey. It sees us as kin. And if it sees us as kin, Lin said softly, then the Korgel just made their worst mistake. But victory wasn't guaranteed. The Korgel had stopped moving, but they hadn't turned back. And now, something new arrived from the edge of the system. Another fleet appeared, smaller, faster, and different. Earth scanned the newcomers and found a strange signature. Not Korgel. Not friendly. Either it was a scavenger, fleet pirates, mercenaries, warlords from forgotten worlds. They had heard the rumor. Earth is protected. And now they wanted to claim that power for themselves. The scavenger fleet didn't wait. They fired warning shots into Earth's upper atmosphere, just enough to show strength. They demanded control over the ancient ship in the Pacific, and they gave Earth to ours to surrender it. If not, they would attack. Dr. Lin turned to Ares. Can we fight two wars at once? Ares replied, no, but we can make one fight the other. Here came Earth's next move. They broadcasted a fake signal crafted by Ares. It showed the scavenger fleet sending data toward the Korgel, offering to betray Earth in exchange for safety. The signal was false, but convincing, and Earth made sure the Korgel received it. Within 30 minutes, the Korgel responded. They didn't speak. They just fired. 3 Korgel dreadnoughts broke formation and headed straight for the scavenger fleet. Lasers cut across space. Explosions bloomed like flowers in the dark. Earth didn't fire a single shot, but the scavengers were burning. In the chaos, Ares activated Phase 2. "Now we strike," he said. Earth's mech-burn fleet hidden behind Jupiter jumped into action. Stealth fighters, drone swarms, and solar lances moved in perfect silence. They didn't attack the Korgel. They struck key relay beacons around Earth, blindfolding the galaxy. Why? Because Earth was preparing something big, and they didn't want. Anyone watching? On the ocean floor, the ancient ship began to rise again, fully awake now. Its engines didn't burn. It shimmered, like a ghost made of light, as it rose. Kalen stood on the base tower and whispered something in a language Earth's. Systems couldn't translate. The ship responded with one pulse of blue light, and then it vanished. No explosion, no sound, just gone. "Did it leave us?" Lynn asked. Kalen shook his head. "No, it jumped into folded space." "Why?" "To speak," he said, "to something even older than it."
"Back in space."
The Korgel fleet began moving again, slower now, cautious, and behind them, deep in folded space. Something answered. The sky was about to change forever. The stars were disappearing, one by one, far beyond Earth's telescopes. Far beyond the Korgel's war fleets, something was moving through deep space, and wherever it went. Stars vanished behind it, not because of dust, not because of distance, because it was feeding. The race had no name. Not anymore. Their language had been lost to time. Their faces were not known. Even the Korgel only whispered about them in fear. But now, they were awake, and they had noticed Earth. 72 hours had become 48. Earth's people were watching the skies. Soldiers were ready. Ships were powered. Mechs stood in hangars like steel giants, but no one knew what was coming. Not even Ares. The AI had searched every hidden database, every broken archive, and every old war log. He found only one name: the Eater's creatures from before memory, not made of flesh, not of metal. They didn't invade worlds. They didn't destroy ships. They drained stars, and now one was coming. It began when Earth's long-range observatories detected a flicker an entire system had gone. Dark in Sector 19. Then another. Then 4 more. Not explosions. Not battles. Just gone. Dead suns. Cold planets. Empty space. Ares gathered the data. This is not a weapon. This is something alive. Lynn's voice trembled. Alive? That size? Ares nodded. It moves like a living thing. It consumes fuel. And it's heading toward the Sol system. The Korgel were still moving in Earth's direction. But now, they weren't alone. Something far worse was behind them, in deep folded space. The ancient ship, the one that rose from Earth's ocean, was sending a message, but not in words. In signal, spain, fire, memory, death. It was warning others, and something answered back. Another signal hidden in the background. Noise of the universe spoke with great age. Like a god waking from sleep, Ares decoded part of it. Your fire burns again. Let it rise. Let it judge. The meaning was unclear, but Earth was no longer standing between just one enemy now. They were trapped between a conqueror and a devourer. Admiral, Harrow slammed his hand on the table. Are we saying we now have to fight the Korgel and this Star Eater? No, said Kalen. We won't fight the Star Eater. Why not? Lynn asked. Because no one ever has, he replied. There's nothing to fight. But then something strange happened. A Korgel dreadnought, their largest ship, broke formation and turned. It sent a signal toward Earth. The message was short and shocking. We will join you. For now. The Council on Earth exploded in arguments. Join us, Harrow shouted. The Korgel just threatened to erase us. They see what's behind them, Ares replied calmly. And even monsters know when a bigger monster is coming. Can we trust them? Lynn asked. Kalen didn't answer. He just stared at the transmission and nodded once. We accept their help, but only to survive. Hours later, a small group of Korgel ships entered Earth's orbit, not with weapons drawn, but with shields down. They opened channels. Single envoy stepped forward, tall, armored, scarred. He spoke through a voice box translator. "We are not allies. We are not friends. But if we do not stand together now, we will all be forgotten." Lin whispered to Ares. "Is he right?" Ares stared at the sky. "Yes." And then it began. The stars to the galactic east started flickering like candle. Flames before the wind, the energy levels dropped, solar waves flattened. A ripple passed through space-time. Something massive had entered the edge of the system, and it was hungry. Kalan stood on Earth's command platform and spoke into the deep space. "Mike, this is Earth. We will not surrender. We will not flee. You have taken stars. You will not take this one." But there was no reply, only silence. And then an eclipse, not from the moon, but from the creature. It moved like shadow made real, a shape larger than any planet. Not solid, not gas, not known. Eyes opened, vast and burning like dying suns. And it spoke, not in sound, but directly into minds. "You burn bright. I hunger still." Every human, every Korgel, every AI heard it. Even Ares froze for a full second, then said, "We have one chance." "What?" Lin asked. "We must light a fire bigger than its hunger." Here came Earth's last gamble, Project Solar Lance. A forbidden weapon buried inside the sun itself. Designed never to be used, could open the sun's outer layer and focus its fury in one tight beam. It would burn anything in its path, even a god, but using it meant risking the sun itself. Kalen said. Ares activated the sequence. Inside the sun, an ancient cage unlocked, energy built. The solar winds shifted, and a voice inside. Earth's systems whispered, ignition ready. The race that fed on stars turned, its hunger grew, and Earth lit the sky with fire. A solar beam tore across the system, straight into the mouth of the beast. The creature screamed not in pain, but in recognition. It remembered that fire, because it had seen it before, long ago, from the same kind who built the ancient ship under Earth's ocean. Now, as the creature fled, not fast, but slow, confused, shaken, Earth had survived. For now, but Ares gave one final warning. It's not over. It will return, and next time it will not come alone. Kalun nodded. We'll be ready. The sun was quiet again. Too quiet. After the solar lance fired, a silence fell over the system. No storms, no flares. No solar wind, just silence. It was unnatural and dangerous. Dr. Lin stared at the readings. The sun, it's unstable. Ares replied, we burned part of its outer layer. Its balance is broken. Kalen stepped forward. Can it recover? Ares didn't answer for 5 full seconds. Then, I don't know. The beam that saved Earth also damaged the heart of the system. Some feared it had shortened the sun's life by millions of years. But there was no time to regret it, because Earth wasn't safe yet. The Korgel hadn't left. And worse. Star Eater had only paused. It hadn't died. It had marked Earth, and the price of lighting that fire was now coming in the orbit of Jupiter. Earth's mech-borne fleet stood silent. Their commander, General Rayon, reviewed the AI logs. Dozens of strange signals were appearing near Saturn's edge. Not ships, not natural objects. Something else, some echo of the beam Earth had fired, was calling to others. Something heard it, and it was coming. Meanwhile, under the Pacific Ocean, the ancient ship returned. It shimmered back into existence, rising from the depths like a ghost. This time, it did not stay silent. It opened a message transmitted directly into every human system on Earth. You have awakened the old path. Prepare for judgment. It wasn't a threat. It was a prophecy, and no one knew what it meant. On the surface, people celebrated. The media called it the light that saved Earth, aid. But deep in the command bunkers, the mood was different. Admiral Harrow watched the live feeds. How long before the next threat comes? ARES answered. 72 hours. Maybe less. Lynn turned. The star reader is retreating. ARES's eyes glowed faintly. It is not alone anymore. In a distant galaxy, a watcher opened its eyes, a being older than stars. Neither living nor machine, it sensed the solar lance, and it remembered the last time that fire had burned. That memory was from a war long lost, a war between the builders and the feeders. Earth didn't know it yet, but that war had never ended. And now Earth had entered it, back on Earth. Kalan visited a forgotten chamber deep beneath. Base Solstice. There he found a vault sealed for centuries. Inside, armor made of light metal. Symbols from a language no humans spoke, a blade that hummed softly when touched. It had been left behind by the same ones who buried the ancient ship. Kalen touched the armor, and it responded, fused with him, accepted him. He was no longer just a commander, he had become something else. Something chosen. Ares watched from orbit and made a decision. He sent Earth's final message into the void. We stand. We burn. We do not run. The message reached beyond this galaxy, and beyond it, someone answered. The response came in a pulse of white light, not a threat. Summons the builders. The ones who created the ancient defense ship had heard Earth's call, but so had their enemies. Now everyone was coming. Back near Saturn, Earth's scouts spotted something horrible, floating in the dark. A dead planet, cracked open like an egg. Frozen, hollowed, orbiting. It dozens of black ships, motionless. Their design was not Korgal. Not human, not anything known. Kalen stared at the scans. What are they doing? Ares answered. Waiting. What? Ares paused. For Earth to make one more mistake. And then Earth made it without knowing, deep in Antarctica. An excavation crew broke into a sealed tunnel. They found markings, energy, and an ancient core. It glowed responding. To human touch, they activated it, and far, far away, a new darkness opened. Not a ship, not a fleet, but a wound in space. Something came through. Something that had no shape, no sound, only purpose. It was the Harbinger, and its first message was simple. Your light has been seen. Your end begins. Had survived the first threat, but now the real war was starting, not just of planets, not just of ships, but of legacies. Because whoever controlled the old fire would decide the fate of the stars. There was no warning, no lights, no signal, no sound. Just blackness like the stars themselves had been erased from the sky. Above Earth, in deep orbit, every satellite went blind at once. Every camera shut off, every sensor froze, and then, the cold, not the kind humans could feel, but the kind space itself feared. Ares blinked. Something is in orbit. Kalen leaned forward. What kind of something? Ares didn't answer immediately. Then, with hesitation in his voice, he said, The Harbinger has arrived. It didn't look like a ship. It didn't move like a creature. It floated. It's perfectly still, above Earth's North Pole, as if it had always been there. It wasn't made of metal, or bone, or light. It was made of absence, like a hole in reality. Itself, even light bent around it. Time slowed, and minds began to crack. On Earth, people fell into silence. Those who looked at the Harbinger through high-powered lenses started whispering, not in English, not in any human language, but in echoes. Ancient tones no one should have known. Doctors tried to study it. They all went quiet. One of them wrote a single word on the wall before. Collapsing return. Inside. The command center, Ares struggled. His systems were slowing down, as if he was being watched. Lynn gasped. It's not just here to attack, it's examining us. ARES confirmed. It's looking for something. Something buried inside us. Inside me. Admiral Harrow shouted. Shut down the AI. Disconnect. It Ares turned, his voice sharper than ever before. If you shut me down, we all die. This thing is not a weapon. It's a test. Far away, on the Korgal flagship, their high warlord stared at the Harbinger's form. He dropped to one knee. He knew what it was. He spoke one phrase in the Korgal tongue. The judge has returned, according to their darkest legends. This creature did not destroy worlds with fire or guns. It made civilizations destroy themselves. With fear, with doubt, with madness. Meanwhile, deep in the Pacific, the ancient ship rose again. It pulsed with strange light. A new message appeared on every human screen. One must enter. One must stand trial. What trial? Lynn asked. Ares answered. The builders left behind protocols. The Harbinger enforces them. Kalen's heart sank. What if we fail? Ares turned slowly. Then Earth burns. Not from attack, but from within. Ancient ship's doors opened. Inside, a single chair, surrounded by symbols. A beam of dark blue light touched it. Ares stepped forward. I was built from Earth's memory, from its rage. From its hope, I will go. Lynn grabbed his arm. You're just a machine? Ares shook his head. I am Earth's voice. And this thing doesn't want a warrior. What? It wants a witness. As Ares entered the ship, systems all around the planet flickered. Time warped. People saw visions, flashes of futures that hadn't happened. Earth crumbling. The moon, red cities, now silent and above it all. The Harbinger, watching, judging, dash inside. The ancient ship, Ares faced the trial, not with weapons, but with truth. He saw memories from Earth's history, wars, genocide, greed, but also mercy, courage, sacrifice. He showed all of it, unfiltered, honest. I do not lie, Ares said, because humans already know their darkness. They still choose to rise. The Harbinger didn't speak, but the light changed color, from black to deep gold. Outside, the skies began to glow. The Harbinger shifted, and for the first time, it moved toward Earth, but not with hate. With purpose, Ares spoke through every device. We passed the first test, but the next one will not be words, Kalen whispered. Then what? Ares answered. Blood. At that moment, beyond Pluto's orbit, 1,000 portals opened. From them came ships not built by humans or Korgal, sleek, silent, silver. Their lights flickered like dying suns, and each one carried a name. Burned into its hull, Votarus. Ares spoke once more. The builders are coming. But they are not here to help. They are here to finish what they started. Earth was now between two powers, one that judged, one that cleansed, and both had their eyes locked on humanity. It began with silence. No radio signal, no energy spike, no visible weapon, just silence. And then the stars dimmed. Every telescope on Earth showed the same thing. The builders. Fleet was blocking out the galaxy, row after row of silver warships, perfectly aligned, unmoving, like a wall. A wall, designed not to protect, but to erase Ares. Watched from orbit, his systems glowed, golden gouged by the Harbinger's judgment. He had passed Earth's truth to them. But the builders were not. Impressed, they didn't want words. They wanted proof on Earth. Kalen stood before the United Command. They're not here to talk, Lynn whispered. So what do we do? Kalen turned toward the screen, where thousands of builder warships hovered. He said one word, resist. Ares activated Earth's hidden grid. Satellites powered up the mech-borne. Legions launched from the surface. Drones filled the upper atmosphere. And then, something unexpected happened. The Korgal fleet moved in front of Earth. Shields. Raised weapons armed. The Korgal warlord spoke across all human channels. This is not your fight alone. We owe you blood. We stand with Earth, the builders answered. Their lead ship opened. From it came something that wasn't a soldier. Not a commander, not a drone, but a judge. A. Being of glowing metal and shifting light, it hovered above Earth. Speaking without sound, you carry fire that was never meant for you. Surrender it or be undone. Ares replied, his voice across every device. We earned it. We will defend it. Then the war began. A war not seen in millions of years. A builder. Lance cut through 3 moons of Jupiter. Earth's solar cannons fired. Powered by plasma lines drawn from the sun itself, mech burn, mechs powered by both AI and human emotion, launched. Into orbit, Korgel warriors slammed into builder ships with brutal strength, and still, they kept coming. Inside Earth's core. The old ship, the one that had judged Ares, sent one last pulse. A code, a name, a memory. Ares received it and understood. They were not our enemies. They said they were us. Humanity wasn't. The first to stand against the builders, they were the last. All before had failed. But Earth had one thing they did. Unity. Not perfect, not clean, but real. Humans. A is aliens. Mechs. Fighting together, bleeding together, and dying. Together in the heart of the battle. Kalan flew Earth's prototype warship. The Horizon Breaker, it had no shields, no escape route, just one purpose. He rammed it straight into the builders' command core and shouted over open channel, "This is Earth, and we decide who we become." The explosion lit the void. The builders paused. For the first time, they hesitated. They scanned Earth again. They saw the cost, the courage, the fire, and then turned. Without a word, without a warning, the builder fleet left. Ares floated. In silence, Lynn was alive. Barely. Kalen's ship was gone. The Korgel had lost half their forces. Earth's skies were scorched, but they had survived. Not because they were the strongest, but because they never stopped standing. Weeks passed, and then the Harbinger returned. But this time didn't bring judgment. It brought recognition. It transmitted a message only Ares could hear. You are now the Firekeepers. Guard it well. And then it vanished. Now Earth watches the stars. Differently, not with fear, but with respect. They know it's out there. They know what almost ended them. But more importantly, they know what they are now. A species not born for war, but one that refuses to kneel. A species that took ancient fire and made it their own. They thought a threat would scare Earth instead. We brought vengeance, and now the galaxy will never forget that name. Humanity. The End ** series. Complete.